a cop got so upset over a coworker's conversation about the movie Top Gun Maverick that he pulled a gun out on the coworker. All right? Pulled his gun out on the coworker. He's a cop because of Top Gun Maverick, released in 2022. Anyway, I'll put up the picture full mass. Hell of a thing. I will give you the background. So the movie came out in 2022, Memorial Weekend crowned with its profitable box office record. That doesn't mean everyone's seen it. All right. So according to the Los Angeles Times, 30-year-old Australian police officer, Constable Dominic Francis Gaynor, pled guilty for carrying a firearm with disregard for the safety of his colleague when he threatened his colleague to not spoil the sequel. I mean, this just maybe, I may not be aware. So do people take this movie that seriously? I don't know. Here's the background. Court documents state that 26-year-old Probationary Constable Morgan Royston saw Top Gun. He saw the movie. He paid the money. He went to the movie. Maverick the previous evening and jokingly threatened to spoil it for the officer. All right? As stated by the documents of what the Australian cop did, the officer pointed his firearm at the vicinity of the complainant and held it stationary for 5 seconds. The offender's finger was on the receiver and not the trigger. The offender was laughing throughout this incident. So the officer appears to have intended the whole thing as a prank, okay? The Australian broadcasting company said the officer allegedly told his colleague something along the lines of, "Don't spoil the movie, blank, and I'll shoot you." All right? What is the aftermath? Here it is. So Royston quit the force after the ordeal. He said he wanted to become a police officer despite the dangers that would come. But after his colleague pulled a gun on him, Officer Royston felt overwhelming shock and fear. Like, damn, what have I signed up for? Mm-hmm. Sadly, this officer ended up falling into depression afterward. As he told the court on Thursday, quote, "I have completely lost the trust I had and my admiration for the NSW police force. When I see a police officer now, I feel compelled to watch them and check their hand is not on their firearm," end quote. So the Gaynor's lawyer, the officer who pulled the gun, Chris McCauley, made a case for the officer that he was remorseful and that there was no malicious intent. The attorney summed up the incident as skylarking and tomfoolery that went awry. The lawyer pointed out that a conviction would remove him from the police force and cost his client dearly. The court handed the officer not only a conviction, but also 100 hours of community service and a 2-year community correction order. Earlier in the week, he also experienced suspension without pay. Thankfully, in the aftermath of all of this, no shots were fired and no one was physically hurt. And according to the Daily Mail, the officer resigned from the police force and is now a car salesman. Good for him. Not around the vicinity of any more guns to prank a coworker with live ammunition. All right. Here's what I can say. It was handled swiftly. It was handled appropriately. And even when the judge received all of this, "Oh, Jan, if you do this to him, the guy's going to have no police action in his future, no opportunity." Judge said, "You're damn right. And I'm going to add something to that." We don't have judges like that typically in the United States of America, where a person is actually held accountable for breaking the law. And I do believe, while probably in the spirit of some perverted horseplay, who the hell pulls a gun out of somebody for anything if you're not about to shoot them because you have to, even in that context, he should be held to a much higher standard of accountability because he's a cop. And that's your coworker. It's in a professional environment. you guys are having an argument about a movie. Doesn't make sense. Francesca, thoughts?
I mean, this of course is a story from Australia because cops do not get held accountable for shooting unarmed Americans in this country. Right. So this is getting held accountable for something that probably happens, every Monday at 9 a.m. where your fellow cop in the United States will just pull a gun on his coworker just because it's funny and stupid. Oops! Like you just imagine the stories that we're not hearing. The other reason I know it's Australia is because Top Gun Maverick came out a long time ago in the States, but it was slower to come out in Australia. I don't know how things work, but that's how you know it's from there. But I also it's such a hilariously stupid story. I'm glad that he got some community service, and it's just, man, I wish we had that kind of accountability when someone is reckless here.
Exactly. Well said.